Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mommy D. Today I want to talk about the part 2 of how I got my job directly from Nigeria. This is a continuation of the video I posted last week. If you have not seen the video, please go back and watch part 1 so that you can understand this part 2. Thank you. So after I found out about the temporary worker visa, I went back on the government website to read and understand everything about these visas, because I think there are 5 or 6 visas on the temporary work visa, which I have mentioned them on. I listed them on my last video. So then I checked each of the visas to see what will be needed to be able to qualify for this visa. Then I settled for the charity worker visa, which is a 1-year visa that allows you to come to the UK to work for a charity organization, and then you can come and you can move with your family. So you come to work for the charity for 1 year, you can move with your family, your husband, your children, your wife, you can move. So I discovered that before you can be qualified for this charity worker visa, you need to have experience with volunteering. It is very important. Experience on volunteering. So luckily for me, I have been a volunteer for the past 5 years of my life. When I was in the university, I was volunteering. Also, when I finished university and I went for NYSC, I also joined the Red Cross, Nigerian Red Cross Society, at the NYSC camp. So I volunteered for a year in Oyo State, Ibadan. Then after I finished my service in Ibadan, I moved back to Ogun State, where I had come from, and then I continued to volunteer for Nigerian Red Cross. So I have been doing that, so I know a lot about volunteering. Then when I got this opportunity, I was able to prove myself as a volunteer that I have done this before. I explained myself and I was able to get the visa. So after I found out about how to go on this charity work visa, I started looking for organizations in the UK, charity organizations that sponsor people to come and work for them. And the visa they give you is called the Tier-5 visa, the temporary work Tier-5 visa for charity workers. So I searched online to see there are so many organizations that are willing to sponsor you to come and work for them in the UK. But you need to look in the right directions. And then the time they give out this sponsorship vary. It's like school, like going to the university. You know, there are times when the schools are open and there are times when the schools are closed. So it's like registration to enter the school. So there are times of the year, there are specific months in the year where some charities release and open their applications for registration. So you will need to start finding them to see when they used to open their portals for application, see the things they will be needing, all the documents they will need. If you need experiences, then you prepare yourself before the dates of the application. And usually the charity worker is stress-free. It is very stress-free, and this visa is not expensive in any way, except that we are coming from Africa, and then wherever you are coming from in Africa, your exchange rate can determine how much you are going to spend. But generally, the Tier-5 visa, charity worker visa, is very easy to get if you have the right things that they need, experiences and the right documents. You are good to go. So most of these charities, they provide you accommodation, transportation and feeding. And this is because on the charity worker visa, you are not allowed to work. You're not allowed to be paid for work because it's a volunteer visa. You are volunteering. You have decided to volunteer for them. And volunteering means doing something from your heart without being paid. So it means you will not be paid. And then on the visa, it is stated that you can work for your organization that is bringing you for 20 hours, like mine. I don't know, I think there are different hours for different organizations, but I think that's the main hours you can work for, as stated on the UK government's website. And then you have 20 extra hours that you can work in another organization. But this other organization must also be a charity, or whatever organization it is. You are going to be working for them for free as a volunteer. You're going to be working for them for free as a volunteer. So because you're not allowed to be paid for work, the charity that is bringing you, most of them would provide accommodation, and most of them provide feeding and transportation allowance. So it's called stipend. So the stipend is calculated. Some pay you weekly, some every 2 weeks, and some monthly. So you can use it to sort yourself, which means that if you are coming on this visa, you need to be prepared. You need to have your own money. It is all written on the government's website. There's a amount that you need to have in your account to show that you can take care of yourself. But your dependent that is coming with you can be your husband or your wife. This person is allowed to work as many hours as possible. They are allowed to work as many hours as possible. They can work in any organization. So I would suggest that if you are coming on this visa, you should come with your dependents so that your dependents can work. Because no matter how much you bring, most of us that are coming from Africa, the way we pay our bills in Africa is different from the way we pay here in the UK. So it's different. No matter how much you bring, it's never going to be enough because the exchange rates are very high, and whatever millions you bring from Africa, if you change them to pounds, it becomes nothing. So if you have a dependent, your dependents can work, and the person can have money for you so that you can pay your bills and you can be comfortable for your duration of work as a charity worker. So it's very important that you have a dependent with you because you are not allowed to work, and it's very important that you follow the rules. Don't break the rules. And then even if you intend to break the rules when you get here, you would never get anyone to give you a job because you need to show your right to work. So prepare yourself, bring a lot of money. You are coming here to volunteer, so you need to do it from your heart. You should be aware that you're not going to be paid. So if you have decided that you're going to work for an organization unpaid, then you need to prepare yourself. Although they're going to give you food and transportation, but not all of them will give you accommodation. Some will give you accommodation, not all of them. And then understand that if they are going to give you accommodation, they are not going to give you an accommodation that will accommodate you and your family most of the times. So I think maybe it's just accommodation can just be prepared for you. So most of the time, if you are still going to come with your dependents, you still need to get a place as a family so that the family can be there with you. Also, if you are coming on this visa and you are bringing your children are allowed to go to school for free from the age of 3. So if you have a child that is already 3 years and above, they can go to school for free. So it's a good thing. It's a win-win. If you have the experience of volunteering, you can come and volunteer abroad and gain more experience. And then if you have the experience, you can then get a job from your experience. Since you're already in the UK, you can get a job and switch to another visa here, and then you can start a new life if you want. And then if you want to go back to your country after your volunteer year, then you can always go back. So you can either stay or go. There are so many charity companies in the UK, depending on what you are looking for. There are charities for healthcare, education, fashion, agriculture, IT, name it. Depends on what you are looking for. So if you are looking for a specific volunteer work, just put it in the Google and look for it. Charity work for healthcare with visa sponsorship and such. You see a lot of them. There are so many of them in England, especially in Scotland, Northern Ireland. There are charities everywhere. So I chose the one I wanted, and I searched. I saw a couple of them and I applied, and then I got interview for one of them, and I did the interview. I passed. I did everything they asked me to do, submitted all documents, did my visa process, visa interview. I passed everything, and within, I think I started the application because I had known about them before their application date. The application was in November, but I have found out about them before then, so I knew what they wanted me to provide. So I started preparing for that. Then in November, when the application page was opened, I applied. I submitted all my documents and I did my interview, and then started my visa process after I received my COS, because you need a certificate of sponsorship from your employer to apply for your visa, because it's a job, it's a temporary work, so it's kind of a work visa. So, and then I started my visa application, did my visa interview, did everything, and then we moved in. Our visa was ready in March. It started in November. Our visa was ready in March and we moved in April. So it was that fast. So if you are interested in a charity visa, go online, look for the specific visa you want, search these companies, know when their application date is going to be, prepare all documents that they would need, and then you apply, put in your best, and you'll be in the UK. That's all. So thank you for coming to the end of the video with me. Thank you so much for listening to me. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe. Until I see you in another video. Bye.